This is another really big one. The yield to maturity, you really need to understand this for your exam as well. It's the most common metric used in the marketplace here. And when we're looking at yield to maturity, and we call it, say, the discount rate, okay, that makes the present value of the bond's cash flows equal to its price. When you see discount rate, I want you to think also internal rate of return. You're going to be solving, if we're solving for the yield to maturity, and you have our Texas Instruments, right? Our BA2 plus, I'm just looking over there on my calculator, professional. That's the key you're going to be using to solve for yield to maturity. I'm going to run you through an example here as well. So we got a 5-year, 7% annual pay bond, and then we got our price here at 102.078. Now, you might say, well, where's this 102.078? We saw that if I go back here. Well, we didn't have it here, right? We had 802 with a par value of 1,000, but now I'm throwing a little wrinkle in at 102.078. You're going to see that on your exam potentially, and that's how bonds are quoted, okay? They can be quoted at 102.078. Now, I can also make that into a dollar amount if I wanted to, and just do this. So you can actually put that into your formula, and you're pretty much going to get the same result as well, okay? So don't get thrown off when you see 102.078. But you can see this would be rather difficult to try to solve if you didn't have a financial calculator. So here we have our 7% annual pay bond. There's our coupon payment each year for years 1 through 5. And then you see our last one is our principal and interest. And those would be the bonds cash flows, or like I say, the CS. Okay, so what we're solving for is that figure right there. So let's go ahead and look at that. So we have our N of 5, right? So we're going to solve for our interest rate per year. And here we have our years left to maturity, which is 5. Our payment was 7. Our present value is negative 102.078. Now you want to make this a negative in your calculator. If you make it a positive, it's not going to work. And the way to really look at this and getting the signs right on your calculator is if you bought the bond, that means money you're paying away from you, right? So that's why it's a negative. And what are you receiving in return? The positive cash flows of 7, and then the future value at maturity of 100. Okay, now you can also make that 1,000 and 1,020.78. You're going to get to the exact same answer as long as you make your payment of 70. You can do that as well. So whatever you feel comfortable with. But once again, it's just, practice. And when you compute your interest rate, you're going to see 6.5%. Now, we're looking at this too from the perspective of we have a 7% annual bond, but our calculated, or 7% coupon, right? But we have a YTM that's lower. So our coupon rate is actually greater than our YTM. And that would be true of bonds that are trading at a premium. So I'd want to also know that for my exam. Now, a discount bond would be the opposite, where the coupon or the YTM would be exceeding our coupon rate. Now, if I just went ahead and did the current yield here, the current yield was 6.86%. And then you really could look at the relationship between the three rates here, where we would have our coupon rate would actually be higher than our current yield, and our current yield is actually higher than our yield to maturity.